Welcome back. This is the first of 2 escort missions in a row, and the substantially easier of those 2 missions. Basic idea is the Victory is parked in front of Blackline Base and is protecting it. We have to go out and pick up transport convoys and escort them back to the Victory's position. This is the first pair of transports. It's being attacked by 4 Dralthi, 2 of which peel off and go after myself and Maniac, who's my wingman for this mission, and 2 of them go for the transports. The fighters I'm currently engaging are the ones that are after me, but while that's normally bad tactics, it'll work out here because the transports are too well armed for 2 Dralthi to be much of a problem for them in the amount of time it will take me to kill these fighters. My approach here is heat-seeking missiles into its engines. The heat-seekers aren't perfectly reliable, but in general I can expect about 50% hits, and there's 4 Dralthi, I've got 8 missiles, and all the other enemies in this mission are Strakha. And while missiles aren't completely useless against stealth fighters, they do all lose lock when a fighter cloaks, so you have to be pretty lucky to get a hit with one against the Strakha. And therefore I'll use them if I have any left, but I'm not going to rely on them, so I'm quite happy to use all my missiles here. Especially since, as we'll see later, we don't actually have a transport to protect when we're dealing with the Strakha. These last 2 Dralthi are quite easy to kill because they're very single-minded. Strike fighters in Wing Commander 3 are often like that on Crazy and Nightmare, something which makes the game pretty difficult when we're dealing with Pactans. We saw in Mission 5, I think it was, that I had to volley fire missiles at the Pactans in order to prevent the Victory from being destroyed, but for Dralthi that don't have anywhere near that much firepower, it just makes it very easy. Not to mention the fact that all of the fighters seem to be in love with the useless kickstop maneuver. Speaking of useless, thank you missile. Anyway, kickstop. It's the maneuver the third of these fighters did, where it reduced its throttle to 0. I mean, that would be a useful maneuver if I was on its tail, but I was coming in from the side.
What's your status?
We're still in decent shape.
And so, all it did was just give it a free shot or 2. These transports are basically fine now. We're taking them back to the Victory and they won't be attacked again.
Thanks for the escort, Colonel.
We're now off to get our second set of transports. You can see I've got 1 missile left. I'll use that on a Strakha. And with any luck it'll get a kill, but definitely no guarantees. These transports are decoys. If you're wondering why I'm at full afterburner, it's because the transport's going to blow up. They've already been captured by the Kilrathi and presumably stuffed with explosives. In the 3DO version of this game, I believe the info burst that I played about capturing Confederation transports being used as lures by the Kilrathi actually played before this mission to give you a sort of advanced warning that that was going to happen. In the PC version you just had to, I guess you learned after the first time, but even then it doesn't do that much damage, so it's not too big a problem, and if you just slash by them at afterburner it doesn't do any at all. The transport blowing up is triggered by you being within 1,000 kilometers of it, the distance you'd have to get within to link autopilots. Now, the Strakha fight here is a bit of a pain. The Arrow is not the best fighter for dealing with the Strakha because it is very good at wheeling around to face a newly decloaked fighter, but it doesn't have enough firepower to take one out on a head-to-head pass, so you need to wear them down like you do with every other Kilrathi fighter. The problem, of course, is that you can't maintain a lock on a single ship, so it takes the Arrow a lot longer to wear down Strakha than it does almost any other fighter. In general, I'd say in Wing Commander 3 you want to be in the opposite type of fighter to the one the Kilrathi are like. So, if the Cats have got Strakhas or Darkits light fighters out, you want a Thunderbolt, whereas if they've got Vaktoths and Pactans, the heavy fighters, you want an Arrow. So my preference for the Arrow overall is largely based on the fact that it's better against the more dangerous fighters, Pactans and Drelthan. You've probably noticed by now that I'm cutting stuff out. That's basically because killing the last Strakha is even worse than killing the last Darkit. They spend a very long time in Cloak and only come out of it very briefly. And a lot of the time when they do come out of it, it's that sweep across the front of my fighter which is really hard to target. Though occasionally they come more directly at you and are much easier to shoot at. This one actually spent so long in Cloak, you can see their Maniac's AI actually forgot that there was a fighter around at all, and when the Strakha decloaked he reported it as a new Kilrathi contact, so
Break and attack.
Watch and learn.
I had to order break and attack again. I debated not ordering break and attack to try and hold the kill for myself, but I imagined that he'd probably have broken anyway, so I doubt it would have made any difference. Orders don't usually with Maniac. If you want an idea of what this was like before editing, then just skip back to where the third Strakha is destroyed and the fight against the last Strakha begins. And just play it about twice or 3 times, and that's pretty much what this fight was like. But all irritating Kilrathi light fighters come to an end eventually. And we are done with fighting in this mission.
Need clearance, TCS Victory.
Colonel, or should I call you Houdini? You got a standing invite from Black Main Base to join them for steak and eggs now that they're able to unload those supply convoys. You're clear to land, sir.
I don't quite understand why Rollins is so impressed with us in this one, or what the Houdini thing is for. I don't see there being a big escape here. But anyway, that concludes this mission, so thanks for watching. I've been Ilanin, this has been Wing Commander 3 Heart of the Tiger, and I'll see you next time when we're meeting yet another new Kilrathi fighter.